Uh-oh, didn't see this coming. Oh, no. So, an end of an era appears to be upon us when it comes to theatrical release, since Warner Media decided, hey, we're going to release all our movies on HBO Max simultaneously as they're released to whatever theaters will be available, which is an open question as we continue in this bizarre lockdown scenario. So it appears they didn't handle this well either. I don't know what's going on here, because HBO Max in the rollout, they didn't have it ready to go on, Fire Stick and Roku and all that stuff. And it's like, boy, you should have hammered that out before you rolled it out like that. And so then that kind of turns people off, and it might have cost you initial subscribers that you would have had at the time that you don't have now. And then there's, of course, ongoing with international distribution, but they'll get there, but I don't know. But they're in the situation they're in after the merger or the takeover by AT&T. And then now there's this massive amount of debt, and AT&T is looking for cash. And that's what resulted in Snyder Cut getting released in the form that it will be. They just don't have more Snyder Cuts. If they did, they'd be in much better shape, and they'd have all this hype and stuff. And, oh boy, you better sign up because all this cool stuff will be on it. And so however, whatever the magic date was that they said, all right, we've reached that day and we still don't have, apparently they're under 10 million. The rumor is it's only 8 million subscribers as of now. So they need way more than that. And so to bolster all of that, and said, hey, guess what? All these movies, they'll be on HBO Max, which of course feeds in to current trends of streaming and whatnot. And that goes against the theatrical model. And so you just stay home and watch it without having to put up with all the hindrances you experience when you do go to the theater. Now, I enjoy the theater experience. I like when it's good. I don't like other people who won't shut up, who keep turning their phones on in the middle of the damn movie, especially to tell someone, hey, I'm at the part where they're about to kill the guy or something like that and reveal the plot. That's happened, and that kind of thing. But within the theater as it is, which is so massive, and even though the home theater systems are pretty good, unless you're really wealthy and you can pretty much create your own movie theater in your home, you're not really going to be able to recapture it completely to where it envelops you into that world and everything, provided the film's good. When it's really bad, it's all a waste of time. But it's coming to an end, and it's sad. I wish it weren't the case, but as it is, and with this pandemic and lockdown and all that, it kind of forced this to happen a lot faster than it ordinarily would have. But I think it was inevitably going to come. And what was Warner supposed to do? They've got all these films that they've been holding back, and eventually they said, okay, Wonder Woman's going to be on HBO Max come Christmas. It will be in theaters as well, but how many are open? There's some places probably don't have theaters anymore as of now. So, HBO Max would be the only place to see it. But the deal is about how they rolled this out was not very well, especially when it comes to Legendary Entertainment. So apparently they're fighting HBO Max releasing Dune and Godzilla versus Kong, and especially with Godzilla versus Kong, that's the type of movie I'd rather see in a theater because, it's big monsters and stuff. Dune, same thing. I wasn't sure that I was going to be all that enthused about it. I'm not a big fan of Dune. I respect it, and I like there's been a lot of influences from it. And of course, there's a huge fan base since the novels came out. But I tell you, the attempts at putting it on screen just have not fared very well. And now this is the latest attempt. And tell you, damn it all, they can't get it on the screen. So as of now, unless Legendary is able to pull something here, it's going to be on HBO Max upon its release date. So the deal is that Legendary forked out most of the cash to finance the two flicks. So of course they're like, hey, what the hell is this about? And apparently here he has this part that regarding Godzilla versus Kong. It's noted that Legendary had a deal with Netflix for around $250 million, which was said to be the cost of the budget. So they would have made back all of that and then plus more, depending on, how well it did in theaters and all that. So, sweet deal. But Warner Media blocked the Netflix deal. So Warner Brothers, they had their distribution rights, so they could cancel that. So there goes that $250 million. Well, hey, look, you're going to open in theaters. Let's hope it's a giant hit. Well, it's not happening. So, I mean, there'll be some theaters, but the theater industry as it was, is not there. Even if the lockdowns are lifted by the summer, and that you can open up, how many can, after being closed for so long. So, and then how many will show up? People will still be scared, and not go. So either way, you're losing money on it. But AT&T cares about AT&T, and their investment is everything is about HBO Max, period. So, I mean, if the distribution right is solid, then I don't know that there's anything Legendary can do. But the other nasty thing about this is that they had no advance notice before last week's announcement. You think they would have been in the know before everybody else. Not that it would have amounted to much, I don't think. I think it's full steam ahead, and that's too bad. But the real kicker here is that Legendary is paid 75% of the budget for the flick. Man, that's a raw deal. But to Warner's or AT&T, however you want to put it, it's defense, I guess, is like, well, what were they supposed to do? Because again, even if they had held fast and said, all right, we'll release it in theaters first, at what theaters? How many? I think when they released Tenet, that was to test the waters there. Well, how'd that look? Tenet might have had done a lot better under normal circumstances, but it didn't. And the market is gone. It's not there because they're locked down. So it's like, well, who's the bad guy here? It's kind of, they should have told them that this is what they're going to do and laid it out like that. But other than that, the result would have been the same. So yeah, AT&T is like, look, it's all about HBO Max, and we want some money made in here. And of course, it goes on to how there was a similar tech businesses buying up Hollywood studios in the 90s, and it all failed, and they sold them off. And ultimately, that might be the deal. There was an earlier CNBC looking into this about AT&T selling off Warner Media at some point. And that includes DC Comics. Well, DC Comics is pretty much a dead company walking at this point. The current belief is by June, it will cease to exist as it has. What that means, big star characters like Superman and Batman will continue in a variety of forms, and maybe even some comic book form. But as it was, and that's what bothers me about the whole DC Universe idea, it could evaporate under that situation where, you're licensing out Superman to this company and Batman to another, and it's just not the same anymore. But anyway, I have Dune and King Kong have my sympathies, but in the end, even they should have discussed this with Legendary. That's just basic manners. But I don't know what their lawyers can do, because if Warner Brothers sees fit to distribute this in this manner, there's not a whole lot Legendary can do about it. And again, even if they didn't, there would still be a loss there because the theater market doesn't exist as it originally did. And this idea of it coming back, something might come back, but I don't think it'll be on par with what it was, as it was in 2019. So it's just sad all around, really. But it is what it is. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.